Last week on the All Serious Subjects podcast, we talked about the infinite money glitch.
And now there's people that have better videos than us and better research that we can piggyback off and be like, dude, I was saying that exact thing, and you should watch this and say, like, he was right, I guess.
Larry Ellison briefly became the richest man in the world after his company Oracle delivered worse than expected financial results. As a clear sign of a very healthy and totally normal market, the tech company reported lower earnings per share and revenue than it projected. But despite this, its value soared by over 30% in a single day, gaining more market cap than the entirety of McDonald's within 8 hours. This is all from a company that has historically provided boring software subscriptions to boring enterprise customers. And if an industry reputation is to be believed, they didn't even do that particularly well. So as you might have already guessed, this recent boom has had a lot to do with big promises about the future of AI, which is nothing that special by itself anymore. But the way that Oracle is capitalizing on this hype is unique, and it's also worth understanding because, unfortunately...
By unique, he means it seems scammy, and I think that there's a way of accounting that they're doing. It's like there's a term for it, and it was what got Enron fucked.
It will impact you. Oracle is going to be effectively taking over control of TikTok in America. It has massive influence in both Silicon Valley and Washington. It might single-handedly be keeping the AI bubble inflated. Oh, and this is not to mention the direct connection it will have with potentially the biggest traditional media company of all time. Yeah, it's all very impressive stuff when you remember that, unless you were unlucky enough to have to deal with their software services, most people have no idea what the fuck this business actually does.
Larry Ellison, founder and top shareholder of software giant Oracle, has seen his net worth by $70 billion in one day.
According to the White House, the deal would transfer control of TikTok's U.S. operations and a copy of that all-important algorithm, Oracle, founded by Ellison in cooperation with the government.
Why does it look like he looks like an Oblivion character?
He does.
It's just wrong.
I just walk in there as a cat type person, and he's telling me that I shouldn't be in this store. I know your type. That's what he sounds like. I know your kind.
This algorithm.
Larry Ellison is an amazing man and an amazing business person.
According to the Wall Street Journal, who's reporting Paramount Skydance is preparing a majority cash bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. The move would see the two titans of the entertainment industry come together.
We need more mergers,
right?
Okay, so there are really 3 things you need to understand about this company. The financial shenanigans it has pulled to suddenly explode in value, the way it's using that paper value to grab real value, and how it's using that value to become one of the most powerful institutions in the world. I know organizations like BlackRock usually get all of the attention for pulling strings behind the scenes, and honestly, some of these fears are not totally unwarranted. But hold on to your tinfoil hats, because there is an argument to be made that what Oracle is turning
I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of retarded.
into is going to be much worse, and here's why. The recent run-up in Oracle stock price has been largely thanks to its aggressive shift into AI infrastructure support. The company is building massive AI data centers and then selling access to them to companies that don't have the money or expertise to build their own. Now, cloud computing is not a new offering from Oracle, and a lot of other companies offer similar products. But the rate at which they are expanding this part of their business supposedly is what has surprised a lot of investors. As far as tech companies go, Oracle is pretty ancient at almost 50 years old now. Investors were treating it like a mature, stable, low-growth industry incumbent that had carved out a nice little niche for itself in commercial software services. But over the last year, it has effectively rebranded itself in the markets as a born-again AI startup complete with the investor exuberance that comes with it.
Hell yeah, dude. That's exactly what you want.
Fuck yeah.
Also, this guy's his company is staunchly pro-Israel, which is fun.
Dude, 1999, I mean, that was a good year. Like, big gains in the stock market, you know?
Yeah.
This really came to a head in their most recent earnings when they announced that they had almost $500 billion in backlogged orders from AI companies desperate to utilize its expanding infrastructure. It's basically that number alone that has fueled the surge in Oracle's stock price because everything else in the financials were underwhelming at best. But that didn't matter because big numbers go up and people are hoping this could be the next Nvidia for everybody who missed out on Nvidia. But there are 3 big problems with that absolutely massive number. The first is the simple fact that we need to get out of the way first, which is that this spending is probably almost certainly unsustainable. Generative AI does have some useful applications, and in the long run, we are going to figure out more ways to integrate it into everyday technologies. But
just tells you like fucked up workout routines, dude.
Put your lower back into it.
really lift with a twisting, jerking motion.
$455 billion is more than 2% of US GDP, and that's in just one set of contracts from one company. When you are spending that much money, handy little technologies are not good enough. It genuinely needs to radically reshape the world in one way or another. Even if it's not for the best, at least the analysts will be able to see where the money is going. The big players are getting more and more desperate to prove that the scale of disruption is possible, while everybody else is getting more and more skeptical. This was covered in a video last month, so I don't want to retread too much ground here, because the economy destabilizing scale of AI investments is not even the biggest problem with these Oracle numbers.
No, it's not the fact that the economy destabilizing scale of these investments. Oh, it's something else? Fun.
The bigger problem is that later on in that same financial letter, the CEO...
The worst part is that they're based in Austin, Texas.
CEO notes that basically all of this money is coming from just 4 contracts with 3 individual clients. So even if those contracts were split evenly, that means these clients will be spending more than $150 billion each on effectively renting a data center. The logical question is, why would companies with that much money not just build their own data centers? Well, that's the third problem. The biggest new client juicing these numbers is OpenAI, who has announced plans to spend over $300 billion with Oracle over the next 5 years. The problem is, OpenAI doesn't have $300 billion. To even have a chance of being able to fulfill this commitment, they are going to need a lot more investor money. Fortunately, and completely coincidentally, at around the same time last week, NVIDIA announced that it will be investing $100 billion into OpenAI. This cash will be used to help develop their compute infrastructure through deals like the one they have made with Oracle. But Oracle is building its compute infrastructure by buying billions of dollars worth of NVIDIA GPUs. So
that's right.
Yeah. All they are doing is effectively turning outside investor money into deferred revenue on the next company over, which is making these businesses look more promising than...
Can you believe it? That's it, dude.
It's beautiful. That's how money's born.
And then you think about, like, okay, more about him. There's the
last
Stargate,
4 decades,
right?
Neither of them have been afraid of throwing their money around a bit. Oracle spends millions of dollars every year on political donations and lobbying.
Fun.
And Ellison himself was one of the biggest spenders on last year's election, even if he was a little bit more low-key about it than Elon Musk. Senior executives in the company, including its outgoing CEO, have also held key positions within the current government. But like all good philanthropy, the alleged return on investment from these donations has been staggering. On a totally unrelated note, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, must sell off its US operations in a deal that has been heavily monitored by the government because of the sensitive user information and influence the platform controls. To facilitate this transfer, Oracle has been selected and approved as the company that will handle the new platform using its existing cloud infrastructure. This is going to give it influence over the algorithm and access to that same sensitive user data. Now, you might reasonably say that it's better for an American tech giant to have this data, when the alternative is a Chinese tech giant, and that's completely fair. What hasn't been completely fair is the tender process to decide which particular tech giant would be gifted this valuable opportunity. The details of this acquisition are still incredibly vague and opaque, but almost every independent estimate says that the $14 billion valuation put on the social media platform is well below what it should trade at. Now, only the American operation is being forced to sell here, but even still, comparing it to a competitor like Instagram, based on sales within this market alone, it should conservatively be worth
so
10 times.
The reason I've heard it sold for so relatively low is because ByteDance or whatever is keeping the TikTok algorithm, which is the whole thing that made it good.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, is that they're going to probably just black box it.
Mm.
Which makes me feel like they're going to still allow it to, like, just take their data. I feel like there's going to be just a backdoor still. Like, no matter what, like, as much as they say they're going after it, they just shut down the government. Who knows what they're actually getting through on, like, looking through the deals and the intricacies. Because if they aren't allowed to use the algorithm and stuff, I feel like they at least could do like some sort of network trace and stuff and try to figure out like where things are going, but that's still hard enough. I feel like that's going to be a problem where if they don't have control of the algorithm itself, at least at what it's maybe like its version right now, and they don't get any updates.
Right.
That might be a better way. Because I don't think I would want to negotiate it any other way. Yeah. Just having a black box in any situation is just a terrible way of being. You're like, no one uses it anymore. The algorithm changed. Like, well, we don't have control of the algorithm. Like,
More. Now, political lobbying potentially and totally coincidentally resulting in a lucrative government deal might not come as a huge surprise to you anymore.
Hell yeah.
But, well...
Say the line, Bart!
It gets worse, Adam.
It gets worse. The Ellison family have used their wealth and influence to move far beyond one single tech company. Now, I have to give a warning that this next part involves looking at the world's most punchable face, although nothing I can say can truly prepare you.
Wow.
Larry Ellison's son, David Ellison,
I could not have imagined it'd be that punchable.
Dude, it's crazy.
That's wow.
He really warned you.
Yeah.
David Ellison, the Nepo baby of like the elite tier Nepo baby.
Looks like the personification of Tyler.
Dude, my dad owns Oracle.
started the company Skydance Media in 2010, reportedly with seed capital of $350
Small loan from my father, $350 million.
coming from his father and other associates.
I want to make movies,
Last year,
Dad.
Skydance
Papa.
took over Paramount to form
Papa, help
Paramount
me make
Skydance,
movies.
which Ellison still has voting control over. This new mega media company is also reportedly eyeing a deal to acquire Warner Brothers, which would make it one of, if not the largest traditional media conglomerate in history.
There's one thing we're missing.
This
It's a lack of competition.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying it.
Everyone's saying it. And
all
then
over
prices go
TikTok.
down when there's just one company.
Right?
And then you always get a better product.
Incredibly impressive from a business started just 15 years ago. Although funding from one of the richest men in the world has certainly made rapid expansion a lot easier.
Yeah, it's pretty good seed capital.
But the cozy and at times lucrative relationship with the government has raised some eyebrows around how this business is run, such as the cancellation of Stephen Colbert at the same time that the TikTok deal and the current slate of big acquisitions were being assessed.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert has been just absolutely a critic of Trump through his first term and obviously through his second term. And he has not won any favors with Trump, and he wanted him off. He's like,
The low ratings, bad guy, small penis. I never liked his penis.
he always would talk about his penis. No, he was talking about the ratings being the
Failure of the CBS or whatever. I think it's CBS, whatever. CBS and Stephen Colbert. No one watches him, not even me, even though I'm complaining about it and talking about it like I just watched it because I didn't.
Because everyone watches it.
However, the company insists that it was purely down to the show receiving poor ratings. Now, that may very well be true. Late-night talk shows have been a slowly fading medium for a long time now. However, even the potential for an organization with this much influence to have this much control is concerning enough by itself. But it gets worse. As something of a synergistic move with Oracle's heavy focus on AI, David has been a vocal supporter of using the technology to lower costs in the movie production industry. So basically, the worst use case for AI.
Fuck.
This is also all ignoring the biggest problem of all.
What? It's more?
There's a bigger one.
Larry Ellison is 81 years old. And while he looks pretty good for his age, he is eventually
You said the same thing at the
going
same
to die. The
He's like, but he's eventually going to die.
exact details of his
Here's some
estate are
dog in a hot-
unknown, but it's safe
Hell
to
yeah.
assume that he will pass down at least some of his influence over Oracle to his son. That means one man could soon potentially control one of the biggest social media platforms and traditional media platforms at the same time. So if you ever wondered what happened if we mixed Rupert Murdoch with Mark Zuckerberg, we may be about to find out. Compared to the other
Oh yeah, dude, I always wonder that. It was well, thanks, How Money Works. We appreciate your great insight and research. Even though I have not subscribed, I'll like the video for you. I'm sorry. It just pops up. I don't even have to subscribe. It just pops up.
Like, why would I subscribe when it just gets force-fed down my fat fucking throat?
Well, you know what you should subscribe to. Do I ring the bell? Do I have the bell
You
personalized?
gotta ring the bell.
I guess I am wrong, but not completely wrong the bell. It's the video that we from this new channel that I've never heard of, the All Serious Subjects podcast. That's interesting.
Ooh, what a nice name.
So, like, just in case you haven't watched that before, we're going to just run down this video. It's going viral. It's got 19 views.
19 views per hour. That's big.
Oh, Say 1 hour ago? Yeah, okay, that's true. Let's see what this is about. Oh, yeah, we're doing it the same way. Okay.
From above, the island of Little
Sorry, this guy sounds gay.
St. James glitters in the turquoise waters of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Tourists saw it as a billionaire's paradise. The survivors knew it as Pedophile Island.
Ooh.
Young girls arrived not by chance but by design. Private jets, the infamous Lolita Express, a Boeing 727 with Epstein's crest, ferried them in. From a nearby airstrip, helicopters delivered them to a nightmare. One survivor taken there for a photo shoot in the 2000s recalled, "I saw a dark and disturbing world. Epstein's reach touched the top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This wasn't a resort, this was a fortress. Guards patrolled the perimeter. Surveillance cameras
Patrolled. Who talks like that?
just tracked every arrival. And at the center
Cool
stood a
guys.
blue and white striped temple-like building, a monument to secrecy, its purpose never explained. But how does a man from a working-class Brooklyn family with no degree or legitimate business end up with a private island, a jet, and friends in high places?
It's a good
The answer
question.
begins long before Epstein, in the shadows where
What,
organized
dude?
crime and intelligence
Crazy.
first learned to work together.
Oh, shit.
For us to understand Epstein, we first have to understand the system that built him. His operation wasn't unique. It was the latest evolution of a network that merged organized crime with intelligence decades earlier. In the 1940s, the National Crime Syndicate, led by Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano, partnered with U.S. intelligence. During World War II, naval intelligence used mob connections to secure the New York waterfront. After the war, that partnership expanded globally, with intelligence and organized crime working hand in hand. By the 1980s, the system had matured into what journalist Danny Casolaro called the octopus, a shadowy web linking agencies, mafia bosses, and corrupt politicians.
Slimy.
Casolaro was investigating this when he was found dead in his West Virginia motel in 1991. His wrists were slashed and papers were missing.
His wrists were supposedly slashed 12 times. I don't know how I wrote.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know this. It's not like I didn't read excerpts from the octopus.
Sounds like suicide to me.
Yeah, dude. He was telling people that it was super dangerous what he was doing, and people definitely wanted to kill him.
Told friends he was close to exposing the biggest story of his life.
What?
At the center of his work, the Promise scandal. The Justice Department had stolen surveillance software from a company called Inslaw, added hidden backdoors, and sold it worldwide, allowing U.S. intelligence to spy on governments and banks. Distribution ran through channels tied to both organized crime and Israeli intelligence. When Jeffrey Epstein began climbing New York's social ladder, he wasn't inventing something new. He was stepping into a system that already weaponized blackmail on a global scale. His role was simple: update the playbook for a new era and become the most protected player. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born in 1953 in Coney Island, Brooklyn. His father worked for the Parks Department. His mother was a school aide. He briefly studied math and physics at Cooper Union and NYU, but he never graduated. Yet in the mid-1970s, Epstein landed a teaching job at the prestigious Dalton School, where New
Very
York's
smart.
elite send their children. The headmaster, Donald Barr, the father of future Attorney General William Barr, presided over the students like the son of Senator Jacob Javits and the daughter of banker John Gutford. Bear Stearns chairman Alan Greenberg noticed Epstein's charm and hired him as a trader. But Epstein's true breakthrough came with Leslie Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret's parent company, The Limited. Wexner was part of the secretive mega group. Wealthy businessmen like Edgar and Charles Bronfman, whose ties to Israeli intelligence ran deep. Wexner didn't just hire Epstein. He gave him control of his fortune and even sold him a Manhattan townhouse for $1. By the early 1980s,
who
Epstein
hasn't?
was a
I mean, I've given you a couple properties for $1, dude. That's just what friends do.
It's like kind of annoying at this point.
It's just like, seriously, when am I going to get $1 property, dude? You haven't even gotten me any underage.
You know, I'm
Special
waiting for
limit-
my own island.
Yeah, dude. All right, that's true. Well, how many properties do I have to give to you before you're going to get this island? Jesus.
partner at Bear Stearns, specializing in tax avoidance schemes for billionaires. His wealth grew.
The best types, dude. Just tax avoidance for billionaires. The most admirable of all sorts of jobs.
Right. They're
So
the ones
did his
that need the tax savings the most.
It's because the trickle down economics.
Mm-hmm.
Access to power. Like promised before him, Epstein wasn't just about the money. He was about leverage, and he was perfecting it. Epstein wasn't climbing alone. He was being groomed by men who understood that in the right hands, secrets are more valuable than money. The dinner parties and private events Epstein held weren't just gossip sessions for socialites. They were marketplace of influence. Guests range from presidents and princes to university presidents, financiers, and cultural gatekeepers. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Larry Summers, Leon Black, Glenn Dubin all moved through Epstein's orbit. His reach into fashion, arts, and science let him cultivate a credibility and cover. Even Stephen Hawking visited Little St. James. But Epstein's public persona...
I didn't know that it was ADA compliant in Little St. James.
...belied a darker business model. Investigators found thousands of labeled CDs and hard drives, safes, and meticulously organized records, evidence suggesting a deliberate collection and cataloging of compromising material.
Hell yeah.
And that inventory looked less like a private collection and more like intelligence files.
Skepticism.
Names, dates, locations, cross-references, exactly the sort of material that could create leverage over powerful people. Epstein's world looked modern, but it echoed an older script. To see where the money, tradecraft, and protection first converged, we first need to look at Robert Maxwell, a media tycoon, alleged spy, and man whose death left a trail of missing millions. Epstein's Palm Beach mansion functioned like a recruiting hub. The operation began in plain sight. Malls, high schools, social spaces where vulnerable teens could be found. Recruiters, who were often women working for Epstein, most infamously being Ghislaine Maxwell, or other former victims turned recruiters, approached teenagers with promises of quick cash, modeling gigs, or career help. A single offer for a massage could become a weekly ritual of abuse. Victims were paid in small sums, then pressured and shamed and groomed into recruiting others. The survivors of this abuse described a pyramid of exploitation. Girls were paid modest amounts for sexual acts, then encouraged to coerce to recruit friends. Money, praise, and the illusion of opportunity created dependence, while Epstein and his inner circle converted the dependence into a renewable supply of victims and allegedly compromising material. Police accounts from Palm Beach in the mid-2000s described a revolving door of underage females entering Epstein's home, testimony that would form the basis of his later federal investigation. The system was simple yet effective. Victims became recruiters, and silence was bought in cash. But then law enforcement finally closed in. What happened next revealed just how far Epstein's protection really stretched.
Bum bum bum.
By 2006, Palm Beach detectives had dozens of sworn statements describing a systematic operation. The case that reached federal prosecutors looked like it was the beginning of a long public reckoning. Instead, Epstein assembled a high-powered legal team, top defense lawyers, political operatives, and behind-the-scene negotiators. The result was a secretive non-prosecution agreement in 2008. Epstein pleaded to 2 state counts of solicitation of prostitution, served 13 months with extensive work release privileges,
as all predators usually get.
You know, why are we getting mad at the guy that's solicited it when we should be getting mad at the women whoring themselves out?
Dude, those 13-year-olds are throwing it at him.
Right?
That's what I heard.
We should be slut-shaming them. We should be tarring and feathering them just like the good old days. We should blame the real people here, okay?
Dude, could you imagine? There's someone who unironically thinks that.
Right.
Received broad immunity protections for unnamed co-conspirators. Victims were not fully informed of this deal. Some only learned years later. The agreement shocked many legal observers. It raised questions about prosecutorial discretion, political pressure.
I don't know who this guy is that made this, but he nailed prosecutorial discretion.
Whoa.
That's a mouthful of words right there.
That was nice.
And the role of influential defenders in shaping outcomes. U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta later defended the deal, but would himself face scrutiny and resignations over the handling of this case. For survivors, the message was clear. Power buys protection, and the mechanisms that once distributed surveillance software and covert assets could be repurposed to shield the powerful from accountability. Justice had been reduced to a transaction. Epstein walked free, his network intact, his secrets intact. But the architecture of power he relied on wasn't new. The blueprint, written decades ago by another fixer, Roy Cohn.
Here's how to cause a fuss at a gathering of American judges or lawyers or just thoughtful people. Merely say the name Roy Cohn. People will leap at you with allegations against the man going back to his association with Joe McCarthy. Some sheer invention, some true but unprovable, and a lot that's true and proven.
Before Epstein, there was an earlier master of secrets, Roy Cohn. As chief counsel to Senator Joseph McCarthy during the Red Scare, Cohn
dropping knowledge here.
perfected the art of using hidden truths, real or fabricated, as weapons. His career became a study of leverage, prosecuting Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, advising Donald Trump, and maintaining a Rolodex of compromising material on political and business elites. Cohn allegedly hosted blackmail parties in New York where politicians and businessmen were lured into compromising situations. Intelligence agencies have long used the same tactic known as a honey trap. In 2017, Lebanese actor Zayed Itani described how Mossad operatives used a fabricated love affair to frame him as a spy, a modern echo of the method's enduring effectiveness. Epstein, like Cohn before him, seems to have realized that secrets, once recorded, could buy a kind of untouchable status. Epstein had perfected Cohn's methods, but unlike his predecessor, he would not die quietly. His empire was about to face its greatest test. When Alex Acosta claimed Epstein belonged to intelligence, it wasn't speculation. It was confirmation of what investigators had long suspected. Epstein's operation bore all the hallmarks of a sophisticated intelligence asset. But to understand how deep this went, we still must examine further the network that created him. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, wasn't just a confirmed Mossad asset. He was central to one of the most sophisticated intelligence operations of the 20th century. Maxwell's media empire served as a cover for technology transfer operations, moving cutting-edge software and hardware to Israeli intelligence. When he died mysteriously in 1991, falling
I
from his yacht,
was
he left
wondering if he just so happened to mysteriously die. I mean, commit S-word.
debts of over $400 million.
Debts of over $400 million. And I have a bunch of stuff written about this guy, whereas like how he was asking Israel for that money. He's like, we got to cover this up. And they're like, nah, we'll just offer you instead, give you a sick funeral. See you later. Bye-bye.
And the dog.
Who, 32,000 people had their pensions drained. Boo-hoo.
I mean, that's just a statistic.
By the way, like that 400 million, I think it was pounds. So that would be like billions of dollars today, I'm pretty certain. It's like multiple. There was like $2 billion missing or something like that.
It's just, you know,
I'll have to rerun the numbers, but it's a little bit.
It's like a zero. Or, you know.
Who inherited his intelligence connections. Ghislaine would bring those connections to Jeffrey Epstein to continue the same mission.
Okay.
The intelligence question became more of a certainty one. Amongst Epstein's belongings, the FBI found an Austrian passport with Jeffrey Epstein's photo, a false name, and a Saudi address. Standard intelligence tradecraft. But more telling was the thousands of labeled CDs and hard drives found in the Manhattan mansion. These weren't random collections. They were organized like intelligence files. Names, dates, locations, meticulously cataloged. In 2025, a DOJ official, Joseph Schnitt, was caught in a Project Veritas honeypot sting, admitting plans to redact Republican names from Epstein's files while throwing Maxwell.
Honeypot? Well, discussing honeypots is pretty meta, actually. Having a honeypot get somebody talking about the information on an unsealed, information on other honeypots.
Well, a bone to keep her silent.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files.
Also, this guy's just unprompted, like, just giving all this information.
They'll redact every Republican or
to get pussy
conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her mouth shut.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
This wasn't just corruption.
Loser.
It echoed the blackmail tactics that intelligence services had perfected the decades earlier. Epstein's job was an access agent, collecting compromising material on the powerful for foreign intelligence services. The evidence suggests his operations served multiple masters, providing leverage for Israeli intelligence, protection for organized crime figures, and profit for himself. Epstein's blackmail operation wasn't just a criminal enterprise. It was statecraft by other means. Robert Maxwell was the conduit between Israeli intelligence and some of the most sensitive technology transfers of the Cold War era. This quote can be attributed to a former intelligence official that spoke to Whitney Webb anonymously, whose work also has been integral in making this video. This network had operated in the shadows for decades, but a groundbreaking newspaper expose was about to drag Epstein's operation into the light, threatening not just him, but everyone the system was designed to protect.
Like a confirmed agent was just like, this is happening for a while. Like, nice. It's always
In
comforting.
2018, Julie K. Brown's Miami Herald series Perversion of Justice gave a voice to over 60 survivors who detailed Epstein's abuse in heartbreaking clarity. The articles exposed the 2008 plea deal leniency, political pressure behind it, and the betrayal of the victims left in the dark. Public outrage rightfully exploded. Politicians from both parties demanded investigation. Survivors, silenced for years, saw a path finally to justice. Surprisingly enough, under William Barr, the Justice Department reopened the case. Prosecutors in New York, led by Jeffrey Berman, prepared new charges. Epstein's empire of power was crumbling, and the world was watching. Then in July 2019, the FBI raided Epstein's Manhattan mansion, the one that he got from Leslie Wexner for just $1, uncovering not just evidence of abuse, but a meticulously organized blackmail operation we had suspected all along.
Shit. Second arrest.
July 6, 2019, federal agents arrested Jeffrey Epstein at the Teterboro airport. He had just returned from Paris on his private jet, but luckily, this time, there was no escape. Charges, trafficking minors, and conspiracy. They were built on years of survivor testimony that was ignored the first time around. When the FBI raided his Manhattan townhouse, the picture was oh so clear. Agents found piles of cash, diamonds, the earlier mentioned fake passport, thousands of images, nude underage girls, a sex doll hanging from a chandelier. The Justice Department announced that Epstein's crimes were worldwide. Survivors came forward.
It's like the amazing pictures of him just hanging, palling around with Bill Clinton, but then him and like some Saudi prince or something as well. And then he's just got like a sex doll hanging from the fucking chandelier too. And you're like, this is that's not it. That's a different thing. I can't show you that. That's a statue thing. I cannot show the image. Or I'm sorry. Whoever this person is can't show the image. I'm going to like this video.
Right.
In droves, and justice finally seemed possible. But in the shadows, alarm bells were ringing. If Epstein talked, what secrets might he reveal? And whose careers or governments might he collapse? With Epstein back behind bars, survivors prepared for their day in court. But before they could face him, someone or something made sure he would never speak again. August 10th, 2019, just weeks after his arrest, Epstein was found dead in his cell at Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center. The official ruling? Suicide by hanging. But the circumstances sparked immediate suspicion. Cameras outside his cell malfunctioned. Guards slept on duty. Falsified logs. No photos.
Oh, dude, all these things, and you're just like, dude, it happened. We know it happened for sure. There's no pictures of the stuff. There's the video that you say is the video that tells us all the stuff. Like, we know. We get it, dude. That one video that shows us a hallway that doesn't actually show us his room, that's the one. It shows that he did it. And we don't need any more information. They falsified logs. We know they were asleep. They were sports betting and stuff. We get it.
Guys, all the cameras turned off for a week.
Dude,
it's fine.
That minute's always missing, even though it's not always missing. That minute's always missing. Don't think about it. Stop.
Photos documented the scene. The alleged sheet he used was thinner than normal, an intentional design to not allow for such an application. Same medical examiner, Dr. Michael Baden, who was there for the autopsy, concluded the injuries were more consistent with homicidal strangulation. A quote from Dr.
He hung himself from the bottom bunk. Impressive. He should be like put into the Afterlife Olympics for that, you know?
She too low to floor to explain throat injuries. Huh. Doesn't appear Epstein jumped off top bunk. Huh. Are you telling me that maybe someone did it? I don't know. This is like the real video and it's just Hillary Clinton going in there.
Michael Baden on
her and Trump doing like wrestling moves, just beating the shit out of him.
The autopsy findings, there were burst capillaries in the eyes, greater evidence suggesting homicide. To many, it looked less like negligence and more like containment. Epstein's death meant some of his secrets died with him. The documents, flight logs, and names remained sealed. The phrase Epstein didn't kill himself went viral, not just as a meme, but as shorthand for public recognition. The establishment protects itself first.
Yeah, what about Ghislaine?
Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't just Epstein's companion. She was his recruiter, his organizer, and by many accounts, his accomplice. When she was arrested in 2020, prosecutors said she had lied and groomed girls as young as 14. At her 2021 trial, 4 women testified against her, leading to a 20-year sentence. Yet Maxwell's own comments hinted at a deeper truth. From prison, she claimed Epstein was murdered and suggested that explosive secrets were still being held. Meanwhile, Epstein's network of high-profile friends and accomplices, Clinton, Trump, Prince Andrew, Leon Black, Bill Gates, remain untouched. Black quietly paid Epstein $150 million for tax advice. Following the fallout from the confirmed ties, he resigned from Apollo. Prince Andrew settled Virginia Giuffre's civil suit for millions, but admitted no guilt. Trump, Clinton, and Gates deny knowing anything.
They're obviously innocent. Obviously.
Only an innocent person would pay that much money to close the case.
Yeah, no, obviously. Yeah.
Lights and photos proving otherwise, making it look less like justice and more like a managed containment. Epstein was dead.
Yeah, that's a managed containment right there, if you know what I'm saying.
Maxwell was in prison. The network they had still survived. The people demanded answers. But would the powers that be ever let the full truth come to the surface? Epstein is gone. Maxwell's in prison, at least for now. Justice feels hollow. Redacted
We're so back.
names, sealed evidence, shield the guilty. The courage of survivors sparked New York's Child Victims Act, extending time for those that were victims to seek justice. Today, Epstein's name has become cultural shorthand for corruption too big to prosecute. We know the establishment worked to protect him. We know intelligence, finance, politics were all intertwined. We know Epstein's files form a chain that runs deeper than any one man. From an FBI memo released in July 2025 on the review of the Epstein files, they said, and I quote, "This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence that found Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. After a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019. The conclusion that Epstein died by suicide is further supported by video footage from the common area of the special housing unit where Epstein was housed at the time of his death." End quote. So, we are supposed to believe that this was a lone actor that trafficked thousands of victims just for himself. The parties, the cameras, the footage, the mountains of evidence that have already seen the light of day, all just mere coincidences. The final truth of Epstein's operation may never fully surface into light, because maybe it was never meant to. Some networks are designed not to be exposed, but to survive. In the end, Epstein wasn't the beginning or the end. He was the middle, the mask over a still alive operation, still protected and still out of reach.
Oh, shit. Whoa.
What the?
Kasabin.
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Should say, or is it? Is this the end? We don't know. Tens of thousands of emails between Jeffrey and Ghislaine were leaked recently.
Oh, we're the same
and I feel
shirt.
like this kind of information needs to not be swept under the rug. One way you could do that is by sharing this video with another person. Maybe liking, commenting, and subscribing. This is our first kind of foyer into a video essay format. And so if you like it, let us know and we'll do longer form versions, because I didn't want to start with a 2-hour-long thing that only got 250 views. So let me know. There's so much more to this topic than just Jeffrey and Ghislaine. There's the Maxwell family as a whole. There's Les Wexner. There's obviously Donald Trump, the connections with the intelligence agencies. So if you really want to see this, make sure that you share it, comment, and all that stuff to let us know. And remember that I'm a great swimmer. I'm not sewer slider, and don't go near ledges. So keep it right.
Right.
Oh, dude, I hated watching that.
Well, I loved it.
I love you, buddy, but
Nice boy.
Yeah. Oh no. Be amazed.
I knew which YouTube channel that made that so that I can subscribe.
It's called the All Serious Subjects Podcast, I believe. I was gonna watch Inflated Ego stuff where this person is they about to fight at the airport. That could be fun. Inflated Egos. I just want it in like it's a minute long. Just kiss my ass. Nice. Can I full screen it? Nice. Are they actually gonna fight?
Please. Oh.
Damn, dude. Oh, the boyfriend's trying to protect her.
Aw.
No, dude, I feel so bad for the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because he has to deal with her, like, just talking shit to a group of girls that are about to fight her.
Right, just instigating a fight.
So I'm not going to put it on volume, but I'm going to just assume she said the N-word.
Yep, safe assumption. Please stop hitting me.
Look at how, like, not hurt she is, by the way.
Yeah.
This guy's going to, like, have, like, a black eye or something. He's lucky there wasn't a black guy there. He would have started beating his ass instead of all these women.
Right. I don't know, man. That's an immediate breakup for me.
Oh, yeah. No, it would be so funny just watching her get her ass beat and just like start like cheering them on and stuff. And then having her have to find her own ride to the airport or from the airport.
Right? Like, yeah, my girlfriend just said the N-word. Like, negatively? Like in a bad way? Not in a like, I'm one of you way? Which would be weird.
But like, you know, less bad, I guess.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude. The idea of just... No, like in a bad way too. Like not
like the way you really shouldn't use it, you know? The one that's like universally agreed it is bad.
The Paula Deen way? Like I don't know. I feel like she was just saying, by the way, I think her thing was she said that she's used it before. She didn't even use it at the time when they asked her. She just admitted, she was honest and said, "Oh yeah, I've said it before."
Right. She's had a pass for a while.
I feel like that's in some of her recipes. It's just like you got to just scream it right into the bowl. It helps if you're trying to make the best mac and cheese. You got to just yell at the bowl of boiling water, the N-word.
It helps the gluten develop, I've heard.
Well, you had a stick of butter, say the N-word, and then boop, boop, and doop, you're out here making mac and cheese.
Right. We all know the only television cook that has the N-word pass is Martha Stewart.
Oh, dude, Martha Stewart's for sure just free birding it.
100%.
I can't do a good Martha Stewart, but that'd be so good.
Just hangs out with Snoop Dogg all day, just dropping the N-bomb.
Like, I remember busting bitches in my celly when I was out there in the pen. And I tell you, whipping up these hoes was easier than making blueberry muffins.
All right. Well, I guess that's the end of the podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the All Serious Subjects podcast. If this got you going, got you off, or even thinking, hit the like button, share it, subscribe. Drop a comment down below if you want us to talk about something. We're listening. Stay tuned, and we'll be here. Until next time. Bye.